what does the Super Mario Brothers movie mean for Nintendo as a company? What does it mean for fans of the Super Mario Brothers franchise? Well, it means a lot. The movie has been incredibly successful in reaching broad audiences. As of the recording of this video, it hasn't even launched in the Asian market yet. It hasn't even launched in Japan. It's done tremendously well in America and in Europe, and it's looking to break all sorts of records, as many predicted it would, because Mario is as iconic as it gets. And although I haven't seen the movie and personally don't want to go to the theaters to see it myself, I'm so happy for this movie. I'm so incredibly happy for this movie. I'm happy that Mario is getting the recognition that he deserves. Not that he didn't have recognition before, he absolutely did, but now Mario is getting to where he is becoming truly a household name, not just in the video games, but also in film, in movies, and potentially in television. I mean, who knows where they're going to go with this? This means that Nintendo could very easily work with Illumination to produce more Mario-themed things. They could produce, as Chris Pratt teased, Nintendo Cinematic Universe, Star Fox, Zelda, all of these things. All of these things could very easily happen because it's been such a success. And there were naysayers with this film, and there were naysayers when it came out. The critics didn't get it, which doesn't surprise me because the critics have the collective IQ of a goldfish, which is actually insulting to goldfish. They have more of the collective IQ to a rock. Yeah, that's more akin to where they're at. But they didn't get it. Many of them didn't want the movie to succeed because they found it boring and uninteresting. They said, well, it didn't have much of a plot. Well, if you're basing it on the 2D Mario platformers, then there's only so much you can do plot-wise. You know? And I'm not totally satisfied with the plot outline that I've seen, but there's no denying that, as far as presentation's concerned, it can be presented in a fun way, and I think that's what it achieves. It's presented in a fun, enjoyable ride. It's not overly deep. A lot of people have criticized it as being just a kids' movie. Well, clearly, it's proving that wrong with the amount of audiences that are going to see it the way that they are. So it's putting the critics in their place. It's making billions of dollars. The thing that's got me excited is the merchandise. The merchandising opportunities are going to be through the roof. Nintendo is going to make so much freaking money off of merchandise. And as a kid, all I wanted was Mario merchandise, and you could never find it. If you grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s, finding Mario merchandise was incredibly hard because Mario hadn't really seen the height of popularity since the late 80s, early 90s. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, it had calmed down by quite a bit. So finding Mario merchandise in, say, Walmart or in your mall was incredibly difficult. Nowadays, all you gotta do is just Google stuff on Amazon, and it's gonna cause Nintendo to license more merchandise, which is great, because Mario merchandise is some of the coolest merchandise out there. I love Mario merchandise. I have a ton of it myself. It's going to be good for this franchise. The movie has only helped things. And it's put away all the naysayers who say, oh, Mario's stale and old and repetitive and blah, blah, blah. No, Mario's got infinite lives. Mario is... It's great. It's a great franchise. It's a franchise that anybody can get into. I'm showing Super Mario Bros. 1 on the Switch, and I'm showing off the Rewind feature. Number one, because I suck at Mario 1. I've always sort of sucked at Mario 1. I could beat it, but every time I mishandle the physics, I end up missing a jump, getting hit by an enemy. You know, I play so many Mario games that it's very easy to get the physics mixed up. And Mario 1 has a very specific set of physics. But as I demonstrate with the Rewind feature on the Nintendo Switch Online, you can redo when you feel like you've gotten a cheap death, which makes the game a ton easier to beat and a ton easier to get into. Originally, I was going to record this and not use the feature at all because I felt like I'd be a little cheap, but as it stands right now, it works really well. And I think that it's a good introductory for people who maybe have never played a video game in their life before. I've always said, start with a game like Super Mario Brothers. Not 2, not 3, the original. Not Lost Levels, certainly. But the original. Start with the original and then let people work their way through it. This is going to be a great introduction to the Mario world to so many people. We're going to see Switch sales go up. We're going to see Mario game sales go up. It's going to do tremendous. And I'm ecstatic for it. I really am. The movie is the best thing to happen to Mario in years, despite the fact that I haven't gone to see it myself. And I probably won't see it until it's out of theaters. I've already talked about in other videos why I'm not going to see the Mario movie, so I'm not going to reiterate that. People don't need to hear that anymore. But I don't hate the movie. I want to make that abundantly clear. I don't hate the movie. It has more to do with Hollywood. So, I couldn't be happier for where things are going for Mario. And you're getting the Super Nintendo World Park in Universal Orlando, which, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm legitimately planning a trip to Universal at some point, once that's announced. When they announce they're going to do it. I don't know if it's going to be the opening of it. I don't know what it's going to be. But I do know I'm incredibly excited for it. And I'm not excited about a lot of things these days. It's very easy to get black-pilled on media, very easy to get black-pilled on entertainment. Nintendo is still producing fun family entertainment. And they've proven that by working with Illumination to make this movie. They're still making the kind of entertainment that people want to see. They're not filled with ideology, you know, they're not... Nintendo of America might try to get behind some of that stuff, but it doesn't work. Nintendo is about fun. That's what it's about, and that's what people want. People want fun from their video games, their movies, and that's why the movie succeeds despite what critics say. It's a fun movie. For all intents and purposes, from what I've seen, it is a fun movie. Eventually, I'll give you guys my own review of Super Mario Bros. But for now, it's doing great, and I couldn't be happier for it, and I couldn't be happier to see these critics eat crow. I couldn't be happier, because they clearly don't get it. This is a franchise that is over 35 years old. It is a staple. It's as iconic as Mickey Mouse. And speaking of Mickey Mouse, oh boy, is Disney also eating crow over this. Billions of dollars that they could have had with one of their franchises, they're losing to Illumination and Universal and Nintendo. And once Super Nintendo Land, Super Nintendo World goes to Universal, I mean, it's gonna destroy Disney World. Not entirely, of course. Disney World is going to be just fine. I mean, it's still Disney World. I mean, there are going to be people who love it no matter what. But Disney World has been declining in quality. I hear more and more about how it's declined in quality. You know, I haven't been since 2011, 2010, roughly. And since then, it's gone downhill. And it already went downhill between 2010 and when I went in 2005. I was not impressed with my second trip. I knew exactly where... I was all excited. I knew where I wanted to go. Magic Kingdom was not inspiring. I hardly went on any rides because it was either dark rides or thrill rides, and I'm not a huge fan of both. So there wasn't really much to do outside of going on some of the more iconic rides, which is fine. And in retrospect, as I've grown, I wish I had, but they didn't fascinate me as much as they fascinated other people. I went on only a handful of rides. So when it comes down to it, Disney is a declining experience while Universal and Nintendo are building a whole new experience for families. They're filling the void that Nintendo is taking away. Now, I want to be clear about something. A lot of people think that Mario is being the woke killer. I don't know. I don't believe that personally. I don't believe that Mario is going to kill wokeness. I think Hollywood is still devoted to it. I think, heck, Universal is still devoted to it. The unfortunate reality is that they may try to take Nintendo's properties and wokeify them. I would not be surprised if they tried to insert identity politics into Mario. They tried with the Mario movie. I've pointed this out several times. They tried with Princess Peach. But they weren't able to, which is one of the reasons why the movie got as criticized as much as it did, because they were not able to tell the story that they wanted to tell entirely. They had to make it about Mario and Luigi. You know, Peach was a fine character from what I understand, but the fact that they didn't make her a damsel in distress was what was a off-putting thing for some people. Because they weren't just going to not make her a damsel in distress, they were going to make her into a girl boss. All of the articles, all the interviews they gave, what Anya Taylor-Joy said about voicing the character, they were going to make her into the hero of the story, or a primary hero of the story, and Mario and Luigi would have taken a back seat. But Nintendo didn't let them do that. Miyamoto and crew didn't let them do that, and thank goodness they didn't. Thank goodness they didn't. Do you think that this movie would have grossed as much? I mean, it may have based on being Mario, but do you think it would have had as much positive reception as it does now, if they had done that, if they had so made the Peach character that unlikable, no. These companies never learn. They just do what they want to do as far as ideology is concerned and expect it to just rake in the money. Well, Star Wars has proven that that doesn't work anymore. I'll have to make a video talking about what's going on with Star Wars recently because, oh my golly, that is bad. I'm just realizing now, it's been a long time since I've made a gaming video like this. I've been making so many Kuba Talks and Toonie Talks and stuff where I'm on camera. It's been forever since I've made a gameplay video and commentated over it. I've been using CapCut to edit, so I have a lot more editing power than I did with just using old school, outdated Movie Maker. Although I'm still learning some things with CapCut, it is definitely one of the best services. Shout out to them because this is one of the best video editing services I have ever used. So, I'm excited for the future of Mario. I'm very excited for the future of Mario. I'm excited for the future of Nintendo. There's still some things that I think Nintendo needs to do to, to really solidify their spot as a leader in the gaming industry and to differentiate themselves from what's going on in the West, because people don't want more westernization. Square Enix is already under that delusion that people want more westernization of gaming. They don't. They love the Japanese flair of gaming, the Japanese philosophy behind gaming. That's what they want, because it's creative, it's fun, and it doesn't care about the real world or real world politics. We need more Nintendos in the gaming industry. If I had more programming skills, I would start a gaming studio in the vein of Nintendo and make games with the philosophy of fun. Make it like old school Sega. In fact, I'd make consoles if I could. Not new hardware, like not advanced hardware to the point where it's PS5, Xbox One, but something that can play sort of Shovel Knight style, 16-bit or even 64-bit games. I think there's a market for that. New games in that vein, I think that'd be great. Market them the way that they used to be. There's a desire for these things, and companies are becoming more disenfranchised to what people want. So it's nice to see Nintendo is still giving people what they want, whether it's through the Mario movie, whether it's through their games. And they're not perfect, of course. We all know the things that Nintendo has done. We all know about what Nintendo's misgivings are. I don't need to repeat them here. But this is one of their biggest successes. They should be proud of this. They should be proud of the Super Mario Brothers movie. They should be proud that they were able to elevate this franchise and that they made good decisions with how they handled producing the movie for all intents and purposes, because almost all the feedback I've seen outside of critics who just didn't get it because of all the references have been positive. And that is a good thing. That is what you want to do. You want to please your fans. They learned from the Sonic movie. The Sonic movies have done good. I also haven't seen those. I need to sit down and watch those. But they're doing it right. And it's a positive future for Nintendo if they continue to do it this way. Because if they take things off the rails, if they decide we're going to make it woke and ideological, we're going to radically change characters for the sake of radically adapting them to the screen, that's going to be a problem. That's absolutely going to be a problem. And I have a feeling there's going to be more arguments between Illumination and Miyamoto going forward. I have a feeling. Because they're going to want to do things a different way that he's going to want to. I'm sure there were already tough discussions with him to begin with, because he's not much of a story guy. So, he's more about the visuals. And I think that if his plan going forward is to do more movies like the original, Illumination is going to push back and say, well, we need to tell a story. And who knows where that's going to go. The future is very much uncertain, but I am excited for the prospect of seeing Nintendo properties elevated outside of the games, because it just helps the games. It helps the games, it helps the merchandise, it helps get people into these things. The only concern that I have is, as this happens, do the games suffer as a result? Does the overall product, does Nintendo adjust according to the movies and TV, or do the movies and TV adjust according to the games? I think it should be movies and TV adjust according to the games. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it becomes Nintendo ends up adjusting the games to suit the movies and TV, and then the fans of the games are alienated. It's all a very fine line. But overall, it is a good thing to see these franchises do well, and to say that, and to notice they have enough power and enough iconography to be able to exist outside of their traditional format. They don't have to just be games. This is something that a lot of Nintendo fans have wanted for a long time. More merchandise has always been a thing, but films and television have also been a thing, because it hasn't really been that way since the 80s, early 90s. You know, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. There's no way that they don't make a Mario show after the movie. There's no way. There's no way they don't make a sequel. I mean, this movie is raking in money hand over fist. It absolutely is. It's just good all around. There are reasons to be concerned, and I have expressed them, but it is a good thing. It is good for the Mario brand. I love Mario. I'm named Super Koopa TV. I love Mario. It is one of the greatest gaming franchises of all time. It's always fun. Even if I haven't played a game like Super Mario Brothers for a long time, going back and revisiting it is awesome. That Super Mario World, you know, Super Mario Land games, which I haven't had much experience with. I didn't really grow up with the Super Mario Lands. That was a little bit before my time. But going back and playing the ones that I missed, you know, it's fun. It's enjoyable. And it'll open the world of the games to so many people. So many people are going to be wanting to play the game. So many kids are going to want Switches now, so they can experience what this greatness is all about. The only thing I wish is that Nintendo had kept the Mario All-Stars collection. Hopefully they'll re-release it, because there are going to be so many kids that won't be able to play Super Mario Sunshine unless their parents already have it. Because I think Super Mario Sunshine is the greatest 3D Mario ever made. Yes, I think it's better than Odyssey. Bite me. I think it's better than 64 and Odyssey. And it's got problems, too. I'm not saying it's a flawless game. We all know about the red coin levels and the Watermelon Festival and behind the Ferris wheel? Yeah, there's problems with it, but it's still my favorite. It's my absolute favorite. I've wanted a sequel to that game so bad. The atmosphere in that game and the visual flair of that game and the overall feel is just so amazing. I need to Let's Play it. Let me know if you guys are interested in an LP of Super Mario Sunshine. I'll put some things on hold and go through that, but I mean, man, it is great. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Movie and where it's heading. I will, you know, I'll have to wait and see as far as a review of the movie when I actually get around to seeing it, because I do want to see it at some point. But when I do, I'll finally give you guys a solid review from the perspective of a Mario fan to see, you know, how it actually plays out. But I'm happy for all of its success. Let me know what you think in the comments, where you think this is all going to head. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Super Koopa TV, and I will see you guys next time. God bless. Have a good one. Peace.
Blah, 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 blah.